Well, welcome to the November episode of Public Works Update. Hopefully this is the last time you'll see me outside for this season, but we have a lot more to tell you about on the major projects for the year. Stay tuned. All right, we are here at Arrowhead Parkway and Veterans Parkway, and there is a lot of concrete that is now placed, so yay. We welcome back Krista May, our project engineer from Infrastructure Design Group. Krista, hopefully we'll be driving on this new concrete soon.
We will be soon.
Nice. So when is the projected time frame of us having the intersection open and then traveling on Arrowhead?
Yeah, hopefully by Thanksgiving we should be open to traffic. It'll be one lane in each direction on the new pavement.
Okay.
So we have an asphalt transition right at the intersection. We did a little bit of rephasing, so the asphalt transition is on the east half of Arrowhead. And that is actually going to help us in the long term because it means we won't have to shut down Veterans Parkway.
But it does mean, though, that Arrowhead east of Veterans will be closed again in the spring of 2026, right?
Yes.
Okay. So
Yep.
that's different than what we had originally told our
Yes.
folks. But it's in the long term. Talk us through about how do you get to that decision?
Yeah. Honestly, it came down to we had some weather delay out here with some rain. But ultimately, we wanted to allow our subgrade right at the intersection where we have the box culverts.
Yep.
We have the really deep sanitary sewer. We have water main. We just have a lot going on at the intersection that by putting the asphalt transition on the east half, we allow it a winter to sit.
Sure.
And settle out and do whatever it's going to do. And we can fix those in the spring and then pave the rest of that concrete back in the spring.
So we would have done soil borings to show that it's still supportive, but this
Yes.
is just almost like another safety guard.
It is. It's
Yeah.
a safety guard. We don't want to have to tear up new
Right.
pavement ever. So if we can potentially sacrifice some asphalt,
Sure.
we can do that.
No, that's a great idea. So then in the spring, that portion will be paved first then? What's
Yes.
the asphalt section?
Yep.
Okay. So then after that gets done, then we're hopping over to the west leg of Arrowhead.
Yes,
right?
we will.
Okay. So what is left to do then in this month of November out here?
Yeah. Crews right now are working on a little bit more concrete paving. We're going to be able to transition traffic to all 4 lanes at Hine Place.
Okay.
And so they're paving a little bit extra concrete so we can make that transition.
Okay.
They're going to work on sidewalk. They'd love to get as much of the north sidewalk done on Arrowhead this year as possible. And then they're going to come through with some temporary pavement markings and get their traffic control all set up.
Okay. So, but the intersection of Arrowhead and Veterans won't be any wider. You'll just be able to go east and west, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so then just because we've had folks that have reached out to me, the side path or the trail along Veterans, like from 26th Street to 18th Street, I believe that's still to be paved yet this year, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then it doesn't go anywhere after 18th Street, so we won't worry about that.
Yeah.
But then I did see where it's paved from 6th Street going to the north.
Yes.
Is that correct? So is that open to foot traffic then?
It will be. So they're actually paving a little bit more of that trail from 6th Street to the south, closer to the intersection limits.
Okay.
And then that should be open all the way
Nice.
north to where it stops. And then next year, they'll complete the section between 18th Street and this intersection.
Okay.
With some more concrete and a little bit of asphalt.
Okay. So looking forward, I know you're going to ask you to look in your crystal ball. Do we still anticipate the project to be open to traffic in the end of 2026?
Yes.
Okay. So nothing here right now is we're going to say that's going to have to slide into 27.
No.
Wonderful.
The only thing that would slide into 27 would be maybe some plantings.
Okay.
So we'll have some median streetscaping. And that might slip into the next year just because we don't want to plant before winter.
Nice. Well, I tell you what, it'll certainly be nice to get the east-west traffic. Oh, what about the temporary traffic signals that we have up at 26 and 6 Mile and at Madison and 6 Mile and Highway 11 and Madison Street? Will those stay up over the winter also?
Yes, they will.
Okay, so no change there.
No change
Okay.
there.
Okay, perfect. Well, this has been very good news today.
Yes.
Am I forgetting anything? I think I've got everything. But people will still see orange barrels throughout the snow or throughout the winter months. So
Yes.
just drive carefully through the intersection
Yeah,
area.
drive carefully. We'll still have some concrete jersey barrier up
Okay.
and traffic cones, so
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you very much for your update today.
Thanks, Shannon.
We are out here on South Veterans Parkway by the Burlington Northern Overpass. And we were here about a month ago, and a lot has happened since we were here last. We welcome back Pat Dressen. So, Pat, we now have kind of a bridge, which is exciting. And behind us, you could see where, when we were out here in October, they were driving the pile, and you can kind of see where the bridge is now sitting on top of the piling, right?
Exactly, yeah. Now you see the piling down below, and now the big tall bridge girders on top of them.
So how tall are those girders?
Those girders are 7 foot tall, so they're big ones.
Nice. And how many girders then did it take to span the Burlington Northern?
So we have 12 girders total.
Okay.
They are just a skosh under 200 foot long each.
Oh boy. And so that's pretty normal for a Burlington Northern overpass, isn't it?
Exactly. Yep,
Okay.
Yep.
So looks like there's a lot of rebar here. So then what goes on in the rebar?
So this is called the abutment right behind us here.
Okay.
So that has to get, in this bridge instance, that has to get poured with the bridge deck.
Okay.
So there'll be a big concrete form put up behind this, and it'll all get poured with the bridge deck that the cars actually drive on.
Okay. So then the deck, so there is a concrete surface. So how thick is the concrete surface then that goes on top of these girders?
It's a little bit variable, but roughly about 8 inches.
Okay. So that's a pretty big bridge.
It's tall. It's sturdy.
Yes, very good. So let's talk a little bit about how the contractor then assembled the girders. So we had some drone footage of the bringing the girders in and placing them. How long did that take to happen?
Each girder took them roughly about 3.5 hours to set.
Okay.
So by the time they had a really big crane here setting them, and by the time that crane got a hold of them and their 2 smaller cranes got a hold of them, they had to put them together over the railroad tracks.
Okay.
Because there's a whole bunch of bolts. There's 480 bolts per girder that got to go in. So it took them a long time to get all them bolts all tightened, because they got to be really, really tight when they put them together. So
sure.
It does take a long time to get each girder set, so it took a little while to get them all up here in place.
So then do you absolutely need perfectly still days then? I mean, what happens if you have any type of a wind?
Yeah, if it gets windy out, they got to shut down. So
Okay.
that was a concern that they had every day.
Okay, so then how many days did it take to actually set all of the girders?
I think they had them all set because the railroad would only give us certain windows when we could shut the railroad tracks down for 3.5
sure.
hours.
Okay.
So I think it took them. I think they were setting girders for 9 total days.
Okay,
to get them all set.
so then the railroad would have had to have not allow any trains through those hours.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah,
got it.
we had to have the railroad give us 3.5 hour windows where they would not send any trains our way.
Okay, so then is it still that same scenario now that the bridge is over it? That are trains still allowed to go through or not?
No, we have a flagman here, and whenever there's a train coming, he just shuts us down so the train can get through.
Got it.
And then as soon as we see the train go by, then we're able to go back to work.
Okay, so will the contractor be working on this bridge then all through winter, or will they get to a point where they'll just say, you know what, we've done enough for this year, we're just going to be done?
If the weather holds, we're hoping to get the bridge deck poured this fall yet.
Okay.
Now there's a lot of work to get to that point where we can pour a bridge deck, but anytime now, between now and the spring, when the weather gets better in the spring, we'll get this bridge deck poured.
Okay, so we were just out at Arrowhead and Veterans, and they had a temporary asphalt section at the intersection of Arrowhead and Veterans just to allow settling. So kind of the same situation out here for the embankments as we drive up to the overpass. We want this embankment to settle, right? And so is there anything special that you guys have to do with the approaches to the overpass, or you just kind of let it be?
Well, see, we got all of our dirt up here right now. Our settlement should happen this winter.
Okay.
So by the time we get to next winter and the road opens up, we should have everything
You'll be
in place
good.
and be ready to
Okay.
go. So we won't have to have that temporary asphalt scenario in this project.
Okay, very good. So then can you talk to me a little bit about Southeastern Avenue and Sycamore Avenue? Will that be open by Thanksgiving, do you think?
Yes. Yeah, we should be opening them up here shortly.
Okay. Good.
Right now we're doing a bunch of graveling operations down in that area, so shortly those roads will open back
And
up.
it's just open to gravel, right? We're not paving any of that yet because we still haven't paved Veterans Parkway, right?
Correct.
Okay.
We want to get our concrete in for our road before we beat up the asphalt that we're going to put in on those streets. So.
Okay, very good. Well, all right. Well, this was very interesting, this whole girder thing. And these things are very, very tall.
They are tall. Yep, absolutely. 7 foot, and they all look all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time today.
Anytime.
Well, our last stop on today's show is at Cliff Avenue and Interstate 229, where they have been working diligently to get lanes open to traffic by the time the snow flies. We welcome back Harry Johnson from the DOT. So a lot of concrete has been placed, Harry.
Yes.
What good news can you share with our drivers?
We are getting close to having all the concrete for 2025 completed.
Nice, very,
Yes,
very nice. So
absolutely.
then tell me a little bit about what does that look like on Cliff? Will all of our lanes be open on Cliff?
So yes, we will have 4 lanes open to traffic this
Okay.
winter, here shortly, by the
Okay.
end of November. So traffic will kind of be back to normal per se,
Okay.
before we do the final configuration next year.
Okay, so then talk to me a little bit about the actual interstate traffic. So we have 2 lanes in each direction, but we switch over with the temporary bridge. Will the temporary bridge stay in place throughout the winter or not?
So the temporary bridge they will actually be removing from the Cliff Avenue location and moving it to the Minnesota Avenue in preparations for that work over there.
Okay, and then at that time, will we get put on the new pavement or?
Correct.
Okay.
So late November, we will be looking at putting traffic back onto the new pavement in the
Okay.
southbound lanes. So the northbound lane will be back in their designated lanes as well. And so that configuration will be throughout the winter.
Okay, so we'll still have some orange barrels out there, but still, for the most part, we'll have a little bit of our capacity back on the interstate as well as on Cliff.
Yes, we should have a full 4 lanes open for our capacity throughout the winter. So most of the barrels will get removed because of
Okay.
our snow removal operations.
Right.
And then as well, we're going to remove about 500 concrete barriers
Ah.
from the roadway as well and stockpile them for use next year.
That make it a little bit nervous as you're driving on the
Yes.
main line.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the off and on ramps at Cliff. So right now, the south ramps are open, I believe, but the north ramps are closed. Will those north ramps, which are basically southbound,
Right.
southbound off, southbound on, will those be open as well this
Correct.
month?
So we will have all 4 ramps open for traffic.
Okay.
The southbound ramps is what we call them, the on and off ramps, will be open to traffic. Yes, the same time in that late November timeframe.
Okay, so the intersection of 41st Street and Cliff Avenue is a little bit further away than the ramps used to be. So do you envision that the ramps will be an issue with the proximity of 41st Street, or will there be traffic signals there, or how do you envision the off ramp to work with 41st Street?
So the off ramp at 41st, the off ramp for southbound will have a temporary signal.
Okay.
So that'll help to control traffic between the ramp and Cliff Avenue.
Okay.
And so from there will also be the signal at 41st Street as well. So the way that it'll work is northbound traffic on Cliff wouldn't be able to turn left to go southbound on 229
Okay.
because of the configuration and the new design. They'll actually have to go north to 41st Street and utilize a U-turn in order to turn around and go south on Cliff to go right southbound on 229.
Okay, so that
sounds complicated.
It does, but I suppose
yes.
once you drive through it once or twice and see
Correct.
other people do it,
Yep.
so then U-turns will be allowed at 41st Street and Cliff, and that's what so it'll be signed like
yes,
that also?
we'll have signs, yes, in both locations,
Okay,
absolutely.
so and I suppose that's just because we don't have the final configuration of the single point
Correct.
interchange, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And we're trying to kind of work through everything and make everything sync for the winter,
Right.
but be able to get as many lanes open to traffic as possible.
Okay. All right. So then let's talk a little bit about the pedestrian underpasses. I don't know if it's actually open to pedestrians yet, but I have seen some Lincoln High School runners going through there, and I've heard some very positive feedback.
Sure.
That will be open also by the end of the month?
Correct. Yep. All the pedestrian, the new sidewalks will be open as well. So yes, we just haven't officially opened them.
Okay.
There is some pedestrian traffic on them, but we still got some cleanup, touch-up work,
Right.
some seeding and stuff to do around them. So there's still activity going on as far as construction around the sidewalks themselves.
Okay. So in addition to that, I have been asked the question, of course, when we're going through the design, we talked about this, but can you let our viewers know, so we come through on the off-ramp and then we turn the pedestrian tunnel and we go up back to Cliff Avenue and then we come back and go underneath the tunnel. Why didn't we just take the tunnel directly straight through the main line?
Well, there's multiple reasons, but
Yeah.
a lot of it has to do cost to benefit, of course, as well, and then also the sheer length of that tunnel. It does create some safety concerns and stuff
Sure.
like that when you're going all the way underneath the interstate. But at the same time, it gets people back out in the open so they can see what's going on and enjoy the nice weather or the cold weather, however you want to look at it. And then it minimizes that cost as well because it would be quite a bit more costly in order to go all the way under the interstate.
Right. And so these were the first pedestrian underpasses underneath the off-ramp and on-ramps, I think, that we did in the state of South Dakota, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, and so I'll be interested to see if people like them, because we're using the same thing, same idea on Minnesota Avenue.
Minnesota, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how they function. I think there's going to be a great addition to the pedestrian traffic.
Yeah, I totally agree, because we have a lot of people that are trying to get to the trails, trying to get to the park system.
Yes.
So I'm looking forward to seeing the volumes on that. So
Absolutely.
all right, so it looks like November is going to be a good month for our drivers
is.
out here on South Cliff Avenue.
Yes, we're enjoying the nice weather
Yes.
already, so yes, it'll be great.
So then looking forward to the spring, as soon as the snow is melted and the frost has left the ground, so probably that April, May you'll start up again?
Yep, April time frame we'll
Okay.
begin work again, just depending on weather, of course. Be moving traffic over into the southbound lanes, starting the removal and stuff in the northbound with the bridges, and just moving forward like we did this year.
And do we anticipate that the completion date has moved back at all, or do we still think it's going to be end of 26?
I think we're still looking pretty close to be
Great.
on track. I think it's going to be great.
Well, we won't hold you to it just in case
Right.
something happens.
You never know with weather,
Right,
and you never
exactly.
know. So yes, but
All right, very good. Thank you so much for your time today.
absolutely.
Well, that's a wrap for the November show. There are so many roads that are now going to be open to traffic. All you drivers are going to be so happy when you can finally drive on the road that you used to drive on. But don't get too comfortable, because next year we still have a lot of work that's coming up in each one of these project locations. Until next time, I'll see you in the spring, and I'll see you on the streets.